people are sort of doing the same thing at the moment for Ghislaine Maxwell. They're basically doing the same sort of justification, saying that, you know, the only reason that people are going after her is because she's a woman and because, you know, it's kind of like a girl boss thing that they're doing.
Well, like, I don't have a whole much more to say about the whole Ghislaine Maxwell thing. One thing that I will say about it is that I always knew that the Telegraph, like the paper, was
institution,
a right-wing, you know, paper, and that it simped for the royal family, and that, you know, all of those horrible fucking stupid positions you could take. But the way that they're fucking writing about this case is disgusting. It is like framing it that this woman has just been accused of these minor things for, and they're making it out like it's minor things. Like even that just procuring a minor to do sex things in another state. What is that amongst friends? Like, what the fuck? Like, how are you writing about this woman like that's a literal fucking pedophile that was like that was a rapist that raped children? Like, how are you going to talk about her in a way that was like, she's just this lovely, you know, socialite woman that's been dragged through the mud for this terrible accusation when we're all her mates and we think she's fucking innocent. Like, did you hear the fucking, one of her mates on the morning show with, Piers Morgan or whatever his name was? Like, oh my Christ, that woman incriminated herself. Like, it was actually insane.
One of Ghislaine Maxwell's friends basically decided she was going to go and defend her on Piers Morgan and was like, well, you know, she didn't really do anything that bad. And it was like, really? And then she was like, yeah, I've known about this stuff for years. And, you know, she was trying to get away from Epstein. She's the real victim here. Just like all this, like,
that was exactly what you predicted, Ashley. That's it. Down to a fucking T. Down to a fucking T.
People on Twitter, because I wrote this on Twitter the other day. I was literally like, you know, people who are the same people right now who are criticizing the whole girl boss Ghislaine Maxwell thing are the same people who employ cynical identity politics when it benefits them, and then like fucking punish people who challenge it. And now they're like, oh, and I'm like, this is the mode that you have codified. This is the mode that you have supported. And it's now coming home to roost, you pieces of shit. Like, they're now trying to use, oh, she's a woman. Oh, she's the real victim. Oh, she was trafficked. She was this, she was that. Like, and then the thing is, when I said that, people started acting dumb. That's what these fucking liberals do. They start acting dumb
every time,
and pretending like, who did this? I don't know what you're talking about.
No one would ever do that.
Yeah, literally. Like, oh, who are the people that use identity politics cynically? Because you know that never happens.
I'll go ahead and read one for you right now. Hunter Cullen at Hunter J. Cullen said, tomorrow could get real ugly. Ghislaine Maxwell has her day in court. She could be the one that brings Trump down and the mob, unless it's treason and financials. Remember, it was always going to be a woman.
Oh my God.
And then there's
there's
a bunch of replies of like Beyonce gifs and stuff like that. Like,
there's Beyonce
hell yeah,
gifs.
lady, yeah, like girl
there's
power.
A trumpet. There's a picture of Trump's hair being ruffled by a trumpet that is spitting out confetti and the words "women power."
It's fucking disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. It's literally like being
people replying with Rosie the Riveter and saying yes with a million S's.
Crazy. Yeah, imagine that if like Idi Amin.
How are you
imagine that
screening a rapist?
Yeah, no, because we need more female rapists. Apparently, it'd be like if
I
Idi
actually
Amin,
like I wasn't exaggerating. That wasn't a joke. It was an actual like fucking like real thing somebody responded to that tweet with.
I have seen, well, like Jake said, the media trying to downplay Ghislaine's involvement. They want to believe that, you know, she was doing it as a means to an end. It wasn't so much that she was enjoying it or that she had any kind of desire.
In some respects, they're trying to defend it in the same way they defend sex work. And like the thing is that it's a totally different dynamic. Ghislaine Maxwell was not engaging in sex work as she was procuring minors.
She also wasn't vulnerable. She had millions of dollars of her own.
That's what I'm getting at.
She grew up with the royal family, had a father who was a fucking financier and secret agent.
It's in no way analogous to sex work. And the fact that people are doing that just pisses me the fuck off.
Well, the people who are doing it are people who are sick. They're people who see themselves in her. They're people from a specific class and they see themselves in her. They see her as somebody who is media savvy, somebody who is, you know, a socialite, somebody who didn't have to work for a living and managed to make their money through influence. And they're like, how could somebody who I see myself in not be a good person or not have some form of thing that made them act in this sort of bad manner? And they're sick people and they see themselves in her. And I'm sure a lot of those people would have done the same thing if in her
Or
position.
you can see them with her in a photo somewhere if you Google.
And I will say one thing about the cynical use of identity politics as well, is that I think that actually that for a very long time, the elites knew that kind of liberalism is the way that we're trying to push things, and like actually ingratiating the Israeli state in with the royal family and doing all of this shady stuff through Israel, specifically in the Middle East, protects them, because everybody is afraid of talking about anything that they've done wrong.
Well, it's because you get characterized as an anti-Semite.
Yeah. So they know this. They know this very well. So it's nothing to do with the fact that they're actually Jews or they're actually, you know...
We're literally talking about a state as opposed to a religion or a culture or an ethnicity. That's the thing that people don't understand when they start to talk about whether it's anti-Semitic.
It's because they're identitarians and they feel like state equals ethnicity, equals race, equals nation, equals culture.
Well, that's the problem then, isn't it? Because then we arrive at the idea of a right-wing ethno-state once again, except for this one has the support of the woke liberals.
Well, I think that they know full well this, the elites know full well this, and they use the Israeli ties to completely protect themselves against any kind of criticism or any kind of speak against anything shady that might be happening, or in this case, there is a large contingency of the Epstein story that doesn't get talked about because of its ties. And I'm
just going to say that this also makes anti-Semitism worse, because now the far right, like not actual like neo-Nazi pundits and outlets are now running with it and saying, see, we told you there was this conspiracy, and oh look, the liberal media is not talking about it, and oh look, they're hushing it down. And when we have a culture of fear where we can't talk about things in good faith, where we can't address.
Well, we can't talk about a fucking state.
We can't talk about any of the things that are going on without being labeled anti-Semites. Then it just adds more fuel to the fire of like actual anti-Semitism.